DC, about an hour north
Oh, really?
of DC. Yeah, but I came last night. I also work with a family foundation in the coalfields, so I come to do work. So I saw a grantee yesterday, and I'll do grantee meetings all day tomorrow. So
Cool. Okay.
yeah, and the hub is a grantee too, so
Yeah.
I can count that.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
why don't you tell me your name and what your role is with Blueprint Communities?
Sure. So my name's Barbara Wychoff, and my role is as head coach. And what that means is that the Blueprint Communities is really forward-thinking and using this coaching approach. And that is a way to really support communities over the long haul. So when communities their interest starts to lag a little and the task seems too big, there's a coach that comes and helps and spur the group on, helps hold them accountable, provides some new content, helps do some team building. So I'm the coach of the coaches, really. So I'm the one that provides that kind of support to them, and then also works with the hub to do the design and implementation of all the curriculum and the programs, and where we all come together. So it's sort of the underlying infrastructure or architecture of the program.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about Blueprint Communities and the benefits of it for the communities that are in it?
Yeah. So I think, especially in rural areas, but one of the biggest challenges facing rural communities is isolation. And they're just really isolated from resources, from different things that could help them build their communities, and from each other. And so I think the first thing is that Blueprint Communities really helps connect people, both connect through meetings like this and through the other communities, but also connects them to resources, both private and public investment, and also helps them connect with themselves. And through the assessment process, sees the kinds of skills that they have and the skills and resources in their neighboring communities. Because when we say resources, we mean the whole gamut. Everything from certainly, the obvious of financial and maybe human or skills, but we're also talking about their building resources, their natural resources, their social connections and relationships. Those are all resources that help communities be resilient. And that's really our common goal, is to build resilient communities. So.
I'm thrilled to hear you say that. I'm really into resilient communities. So let's do a last catch-all question. So for groups that or people who are watching this online, what else do you want them to know about Blueprint Communities?
Yeah. I think one thing, certainly resilient communities is a key piece of what we're doing, but another common goal we have is prosperous communities. And I think I talk a lot about it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And so a community might decide they want to do Main Street revitalization, for example, which is great. And many communities decide that that's something that they want to do. But how do you do that? Do you just fix up some buildings, or do you think about and bring in maybe some contractors from outside your community, because maybe your community doesn't have an electrician or something? I'll say, you know what? Think about building a prosperous community. That means put a young person alongside that person that came from out of town. So next time when you're doing a building, that young person has some skills, and you can start to employ from within your community. Or whatever it might be. Think about your buildings. How can you use renewable energy or other sources of energy that are locally sourced and that are sustainable, so you end up with a really rich, prosperous community. Another thing I want to say is the thing I love about Blueprint Communities is its focus on the plan. And I know, oh my gosh, I've worked with so many communities, and you say planning, and they all roll their eyes, right? Because usually plans are that thing you work on and then you put it on the shelf and you never see it again. And the really exciting thing about Blueprint Communities is these are the plans that then, with support of the hub and other programs, actually get implemented. And we know Blueprint Communities involves lots of people in the community, really reaches deep, so there's large ownership over those plans. So if that mayor changes or somebody leaves town, the plan becomes, again, that backbone that the community can use to implement their projects and their work and really achieve their broad aspiration for them and their youth. So those are all pieces, different components of the Blueprint community.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
sorry, I probably went more than 2 minutes.
No, that's fine.
Uh-oh. You all right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Okay.